Good afternoon, students. Today is the second session for the GATE mark. Today we will start the same engineering mechanics second session. In last class already we seen some basics of the engineering mechanics. Already in last class we seen what are the different types of the forces are there, and then different materials we observed in first class. Now in today class we will see the same what is meant by kinetics and kinematics, like that we will see here today class. All of you first welcome to Prerana GATE classes. From last 1 month onwards, we have started this GATE classes. Here for engineering mechanics, we started from yesterday onwards, and then today and tomorrow we will complete the total engineering mechanics, and then next we will start the structural analysis. For this, all of you please be prepared, and then you had to follow the whatever we are seeing here. You had to follow the each and every slide, and then you can prepare your GATE preparations. Okay. Next, we will start in last class. Already we see some laws of mechanisms. That laws of mechanisms are total 6 types. Already we seen in last class. That is, the first one is the Newton's law. Based on Newton's law, there is a 3 Newton's laws will be there. Newton's first law, Newton's second law, Newton's third law. And then next one is the Newton's law of gravitation. That is the fourth one. And the fifth one is the law of transmissibility of forces. And the sixth one is the parallelogram forces. In these all cases, in these all Newton laws of mechanisms, we see in each and every condition how the force is acting and how the forces will be changes from one position to another position. There will be any state of rest, or there will be any change of in motion. And then some transmissibility, similar forces has to be applied for the same body. What will happen? If suppose the two forces are in opposite direction, what is the resultant? That will be, we observed in parallelogram law of forces. These all cases we seen in the last class. Today we will see the next session. That is the system of forces. System of forces also we seen in last class. That is there is total 9 system of forces are there. That is coplanar forces, collinear forces, and then another one is the coplanar collinear forces, coplanar like parallel forces, coplanar concurrent forces, and then coplanar non-concurrent, like the different examples with their characteristics and examples we seen in the last class. That also we observed here. Next one. Today we'll see about the resultant and resolution. Resultant is nothing but the whatever the forces that you have to observe here. Based on that resultant, based on the parallelogram law of theory, we can observe here. Based on that, how the resultant has to be observed here. For a 2 conditions, there will be very one will be at 2 arrow marks will you have to observe here. One will be OP and OQ, like that. There will be third position, that is the third opposite condition will be the our resultant. Here you can observe this one. Resultant of a system of concurrent coplanar forces. There will be some method of projections also we have to observe here. Some equilibrium conditions will be there. For each and every condition, there will be some equilibrium conditions and equations of equilibrium will be there based on the concurrent forces. And then we have to observe for each and every direction of the forces, there will be equilibrium equations will be there. There will be summation of the horizontal forces and summation of vertical forces and summation of the moments must be equal to 0. That all forces we have to consider here, and then that equilibrium positions, equilibrium forces we have to take here in this condition. That is one of the main method. And then here we can see the what is the constraint and then action and then reaction of the bodies. Here we can observe a body is not always free to move in all directions. The restriction of the free motion of the body in any direction is called the constraint. Okay. In general, the action of constrained body of any support induces an equal and opposite reaction from the support. Here the reactions will be induced here one direction. In such support, there will be some restrictions to the motion of the body due to the supports and then due to the different conditions. And then the linear motion, whatever the linear motion of a body is restricted here by the support of some directions, whether they have to move in left or right direction, the reaction shall be in a force in that direction. Whatever the force you are applying in that direction only, you can observe the reaction and then direction of that constraint. The rotation of a body is restricted here. about a point, the reaction shall be a couple acting on that body that will be about that point. You can observe here. That is one of the constraint method. Next one, we have to see main important types of supports and then support reactions. Okay. If suppose if you are taking the frictionless supports, what will happen? The reaction acts on the normal, acts normal to the surface at the point of contact. Here you can observe here, this is a sphere resting on the horizontal plane. For this, whatever the reaction, whatever the force that will be acting on the resting on the any support or any ground, there will be some reaction will be there. That reaction will be the opposite reaction. Whatever the load is acting towards the gravity, and then oppositely there will be some reaction will be there. That is a or A. If suppose a rod is resting inside the sphere, what will happen? For that rod also there will be total rod weight will be towards the center of the gravity, but there will be some opposite internal forces will be there. That internal forces will be or B and or C or A or B, like that. Depends upon the whatever the conditions we are applying here. That is one of the frictionless moment. That is one of the fixed support. This is one of the support. That is a fixed support. Fixed support is nothing but a body which will not move to any direction. There will be a fixed one. This is a fixed support. That is the first type of support we had observed here. Second one is a hinged and roller. Roller support is nothing but here the reaction will be normal to the plane of rolling. Here there will be directions. It will be move either left and right directions. That like that it will move only in one direction. That is a roller support. In hinged support, it will be move in a horizontal and vertical directions. Here, for this the hinged supports, there will be two reactions we had observed here. That is one of the method. Here in fixed one, already we informed that there will be no movement will be applied here. Sigma h equal to 0 and sigma v equal to 0 and sigma m moment also equal to 0 here in this condition. If one end is fixed, another end is free, whatever the load is acting on that body, it will move the one other directions. For this, we had to observe the free body diagram. It is the diagram that isolated a body, which shows the external forces of the body that will be the reactions extended it by the removal of the elements. Here you can observe here. This is one of the method that we had to observe here for the fixed movements. Next one is some external forces. What are the external forces will be acting on your body? Some system of forces from outside also you can observe here. And then some internal forces will be there. For any body, there will be external forces and internal forces will be there. Whatever the external forces are the outside the forces, whatever we are applying, and then due to the nature, whatever the wind force like that, that are all the external forces. Internal forces are what are the forces that which hold together the particles of a body, and it more than one body is involved here. It may be the force that holds the two bodies together. That will be the internal forces that you have to observe here. That is one of the method. And then the main free body diagram of sphere of weight W, which is resting on a frictionless plane and the surface. Here you can observe the two diagrams. Here the body is resting on the support. Here the body is resting on the frictionless plane. When the sphere is isolated from the surface, a reaction RA, whatever the RA is there, is equal to the opposite force. Whatever the load is acting, equally the opposite direction only, the same reaction has to be applied here. The force W is exerted on the sphere by the surface of the body, or by the surface of the point of contact A here. The sphere is in equilibrium under the action of two equal and opposite forces. That is, whatever the load is acting on that body is W, whatever the reaction will be acting on the opposite direction will be RA. Here you can observe that clearly. Okay, example, a bar, we are taking suppose a bar AB of weight W is hinged at A. One end is hinged to the wall and is supported in a vertical plane by the string BD. Then the figure, now we'll observe the figure of BD, that draw the free body diagram of that bar. Here you can observe this one. Here this is a AD is a hinged total one wall you had observed, and then AB is a rod that will be pinned here. The force acting on the bar when isolated for the support, the force, whatever the force we are applying W is equal to its own weight and is acting vertically downwards. The pull, whatever the pull T of that string along the BD, and then the reactions of that one of RA at the hinge is known as unknown direction, whether it will be moving in downward direction or upward direction. Since the bar AB is in equilibrium condition under the action of three non-parallel forces, so that the must pass the point E. Here you can observe it will be moved in left direction or right direction or any other direction, but it will be passed on the center of that point. That is the E point. Okay. If this fixes the unknown direction, then the reaction RA, whatever the reaction RA is there, that reaction is shown in figure. Based on this condition, if it is a wall, we are keeping one rod of AB, and then we are moving the rod AB. Whenever the rod is moving, AB is moving, there will be some load is acting on that. Due to that acting of that load, whatever the force acting on that load, there will be some gravitational force, and then there will be another force also here we are observing here. Similarly, equilibrium, whatever the same condition here, the hinged one, equilibrium of a body that is subjected to two forces. The two forces can be equilibrium only if they are in equal magnitude and then opposite in direction, and they have the same line of action. Then the body is in equilibrium condition. Here you can observe the same total F2 and F3 are in different direction and then different magnitude and different directions. But here, if you observe the AB, there will be same magnitude and then there will be in opposite directions. Then the equilibrium of a body is subjected to three forces. What are the three forces? Is nothing but it depends upon to close this triangle. And then the forces, when the diagram is of a head and tail fashion, you can observe here. By using the Lamis equation, this Lamis equation already you know, whatever the load is acting in one direction, that must be opposite to the angle. Lamis equation equals to, here you can observe whatever the P force is applying or F1 force is applying, F1 is divided by sine theta, F2 is divided by cos theta, and then F2 is divided by the sine theta, F3 is divided by the sine theta 3. Okay, you have to take that angles will be theta 1, theta 2, theta 3 like that. For that theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, the Lamis equation will be gives us opposite direction with the divided by the sine angle. F1 is divided by the sine of theta 1, F2 is divided by the sine of theta 2, F3 is divided by sine of theta 3. Depends upon the angles and depends upon the forces, the Lamis equation can be conveniently used to solve the problem. It states that three coplanar concurrent forces are in equilibrium condition. Then the ratio of each force and the sign of included angle between the two other forces are constant here. Okay, that is the main Lamis equation. For your GATE exams, they will ask for Lamis equation problems also. They will give the three forces and then two angles they will give. We have to find the one more angle. It will be very easy to find the one more angle. F1 by sine theta 1 equals to whatever the another force F2 by remaining whichever the theta which is not unknown angle is there, that angle you had to substitute there, sine theta 3 like that. Had to substitute the all values, then easily you can find the theta 3. If suppose they will give the all angles and then they will ask you to find the forces, that will be also very easy by using this Lamis theorem. Okay, this is one of the method to find the different equilibrium condition forces by using by given the whatever the values given by the forces and angles. Next one is the moment of force. This is one of the another method, moment of force. A force can rotate a nut when applied or a wrench or it can be open a door. Moment of force is nothing but there will be some due to the load and then due to the distance, the moment we are called as a moment is nothing but the load into perpendicular distance. That is nothing but whenever we are applying a door open, there will be some winch will be there or some for a door open, there will be at corner you can observe that there will be rotated on hinges. That is one type of the moment. A force thus can be produce a rotatory motion here besides, and then it produces the translatory motion. Then it means that the turning effect produced by the force on a body called as the moment of force. Okay, here you can observe the moment of force. Suppose this is a ball and then there will be a door wrench will be there or there will be some hinge will be there. Whenever we are moving the door, some load and then some distance and some force. We are applying some force automatically at some distance. The door is moving. Force into perpendicular distance is called as the moment. Okay. The moment of a force about the axis through a point, for short, the moment of a force about a point is equal to the product of the force and perpendicular distance of that point from the line of action of the force is known as the moment of force. Okay, this is one of the main blank they will ask you. What is the moment of force? The moment of force is nothing but what are the force that is acting on your body with some perpendicular distance is known as moment of force. Next, we'll see what are the types of parallel forces are there and then what is meant by theorem of Varigran. The moment of a force about the axis is equal to the sum of the moments of all the components about the same axis. Here you can observe the moment of force of that axis will be equals to sum of the all forces. This one already we solved in bell crank lever in our applied mechanics lab. Wherever the force moment is acting in one direction, that must be equals to the whatever the forces that is acting in opposite direction. That already we solved parallel forces. Okay. This parallel forces in a plane is a set of forces whose lines of action are parallel or each other. That is one parallel forces in a plane. Next one is the like parallel forces. Like parallel forces also similar to the parallel forces only. When two parallel forces act in the same direction, they are termed as like parallel forces. Those forces which can be equal and unequal in magnitude, but they can be considered as the like force, like parallel forces. That here you can observe this one is a figure A is the like parallel forces. Unlike parallel forces is nothing but the two opposite directions, but they are in same plane, same parallel. Okay. Unlike unequal parallel forces. When the two parallel forces act in the opposite direction under unequal magnitude. If you observe here, F will be one direction and then one size. F1 will be the another direction in another sizes. These are all the two different directions we had to observe here. That is a unlike unparalleled forces. Next one is unlike equal parallel forces. Equal means the two forces will be the same distance. Okay, when two parallel forces act in opposite direction and equal in magnitude, the magnitude will be unequal, then this type of forces is called as the unlike equal parallel forces. The resultant of these two like parallel forces acts parallel to them, and its position is such that it divides the distance between the points and the application of the ratio, which is inversely proportional to the magnitude. When we will observe this type of parallel forces means whenever the same vehicle, suppose a wheel or a car we had to take, for that car the two wheels will be on the same directions. The two wheels will be the parallel like directions. Two wheels will move to move the vehicle. Whenever the front wheel will move at a distance at a speed of 50, automatically the back wheel also will move at a distance of 50. There we can observe this type of parallel forces, parallel like forces. Two unlike parallel forces here, you can observe these two parallel unlike forces are outside the line joining the points. That is the action, two forces that same direction and the larger forces will be observed here. That is one of the method. Two like parallel forces and the moment of couple. What is meant by couple here is nothing but the couple is nothing but the rotational tendency of a couple is measured by its moment. The moment of couple is the product of the either one or more forces. One of the force forming the couple and the arm of the couple. The moment of couple is nothing but the couple is must be equals to the moment only. Moment is nothing but force into perpendicular distance. Here couple are the force into distance. Same force into perpendicular distance both, but wherever the applying on the direction, on that direction to the some distance is called as a couple here. Resolution of force in a resolution of a force into force and a couple. Here you can observe the different diagrams. The original force F acting on the point A and it can be replaced by the force F by applying the another moment B at a point B. Together with a couple of magnitude here, there will be some distances will be there, D. That whatever the force is applying, that force is multiplied by the distance. A force into distance, the distance of D being will be applied here. That distance we are observed here, that one is called as the resolution of a force into the couple. That is one of the method. Next topic is a very, very important topic, that is the friction. We had to know about the friction here. Friction is the force that is resisting on the relative motion of solid surfaces, that the fluid layers and the material elements sliding against each other here. Friction is nothing but that there will be some force that will be applied on the body. The force distribution on the surface that is contacted by its tangential area to the surface of the contact is known as the frictional force. Suppose a vehicle is moving on the road, the wheel and the road, whatever the moving, that is one of the type of the friction here. The next, what is meant by coefficient of friction? Coefficient of friction is nothing but it is oftenly will call as mu here. It is a dimensionless scalar which describes the ratio of the force and the ratio of the force of the friction between the two bodies and the two pressing them together here. It is one of the coefficient of friction. The coefficient of friction is nothing but it is a material that will be used for the example like ice steel. How the low coefficient of steel will be there with rubber. Coefficient of friction is nothing but, for example, a vehicle is moving on the road, there will be a friction will be followed on the road. That surface is rest but relatively each other. They both are in each other. That will be mu must be equals to the mu dash. That is a static condition, static friction. Here is usually larger than the kinetic counterpart. For the surfaces in relative motion, mu equals to mu dash or mu k. That is whatever the coefficient of friction must be equal to the coefficient of kinetic friction. This is one of the method that we had to observe in the friction. First of all, friction is nothing but there will be some forming or shearing of the two vehicles or two bodies. Next, dry friction or adhesive friction. The friction between the dry surfaces in contact is called as a dry surfaces in contact is called the dry friction. It is called as the Coulomb friction. This type of friction we'll observe here. The major cause of such frictions is believed that interlocking of the microscopic prototubes that will be observed which opposes the relative position. Such prototube are always present. However, there will be a smooth surfaces and there will be any hard surfaces. In that cases, we can observe this type of the dry friction condition. This is one of the method we have to observe here. Another one is a fluid friction. Fluid friction will be observed in cohesive conditions. Cohesive friction. There will be another type of friction is there, that is a fluid friction. The friction between the two surfaces that will be present, both are in the presence of fluid. Both are in the presence of fluid is called fluid friction. That way, both are in water or both are in a oil, like that we can observe that both are in rubbing. That condition is called as a fluid friction. Another one is the limiting friction. Limiting friction is the maximum frictional force that is exerted at the time of the impending motion. That is when the motion is about to begin. That is a starting. Whenever there will be a sliding position will be there. In that sliding position, at top there will be one vehicle or one material is there that wants just slide to move. That slide to move is known as the limiting friction here. Okay. The force that is exerted at the time of impending motion when the motion is about to begin is called as the limiting friction. The frictional force between the two moving surfaces is called the kinetic and dynamic friction. Kinetic friction is, again, we had to know about by applying some force, the vehicle is moving, or without any force, automatically the body is in motion. That is also one type of the kinetic dynamic friction. Next one is there is the 5 laws of frictions are there, very, very important for your GATE exams. Total friction that can be developed for independent of magnitude and the area of contact. The total friction that can be developed is proportional to the perpendicular to the normal force. That is nothing but whatever the friction that must be directly proportional to the normal friction. F equals to mu into n, where mu is nothing but already we know coefficient of friction here. Okay. For low velocities, the total friction that can be developed is practical of independent of velocity. The coefficient of static friction is slightly greater than the coefficient of kinetic friction. Why it is slightly greater than means whenever the vehicle tends to move from one position to another position, there will be in static position to it will be changes to the moving position, automatically the coefficient of static friction that must be slightly greater than the coefficient of kinetic friction. Within the rather larger limits, kinetic friction is independent of velocity. Friction depends upon the nature of the surfaces in contact. Then now we'll see one by one what is meant by angle of friction or angle of repose that we'll see. Angle of friction is nothing but it is defined as the angle made by the resultant, whatever the resultant on the surface on normal reaction, and the frictional force with the normal reaction. Here you can observe there will be two frictional forces. One force is applying on the left direction, automatically normal reaction will be there on the perpendicular direction. Between these two there will be one resultant will be there. Here you can observe this one. This is a sliding position. There is some at an angle of theta. There will be a sliding position is there. One vehicle is moving. That vehicle weight will be towards downward direction due to gravitation. This W. The vehicle is motion will be as usually it will be in downward direction. The motion will be in downward direction. The friction will be in opposite direction. Whenever the vehicle tends to move in the downward direction, but the friction wants to move in the opposite direction. That is here the sense of friction is always in opposite direction, the sense of impending motion. Okay, this you have to observe here clearly. This type of friction is called as the angle of friction. Whatever the angle is there, up to certain angle, how it wants to tends to move, and then how it will control by the friction. That angle is called as the angle of friction here. Okay, this is one of the method. Second one is when two bodies are involved in the both case, some tendency to move with respect to each other. The normal reaction as well as the frictional force acting on the two bodies is equal to the two opposite and are equal in magnitude but opposite in sense. That you have to observe here clearly. There will be two opposite motions, and then simultaneously whatever the two opposite. If this is example of tug of war, if two sides of both members are dragging the rope, what will happen? The two sides of forces will be in opposite direction. There will be one side force will be in another direction. Automatically, other person has to move the another direction. The friction will be changes here. And the third one is the belt friction here. This belt friction is look like a flat belt passing over a drum, and then it will take some differential element position here that will be impending here. The normal force is differential force because it acts as a differential element of area. Some integrating the above equation over the contacting angle, and then it tends to integrating the above equation over the contacting angle leads here. This is one of the method that you have to observe here. Some formulas that has to be applied for the flat belt passing over the fixed drums, and then ropes that has to be observed here. What are the ropes around the post? And then band brakes that you have to observe here. That is nothing but drum brakes is nothing but whenever the vehicle is moving in the road, there will be sudden brakes you have to apply. What will happen? The tire will be stopped, then it will be skid from at some distance. That distance is the drum band brakes. Okay, some problems is involving in belt drives. That is both the pulley and the belt rotate here. Determine whether the belt will slip or move to pulley. It should be used to, if the belt rope is, if suppose some brake will be applied here, what will happen? The total wheel will also move, and then the total belt also will move here. Simultaneously, the two vehicles has to be moved in one direction. There will be with a different action. If the belt rope is actually slipping, it should be used in some other conditions. Okay, if there will be no slipping occurs and then not about to slip, none of these formulas should be used here because there will be no slipping is there. Okay, that is one of the method of friction. In friction already we seen angle of repose, and then limiting friction, and then belt friction. Okay, these are all the different methods we observed here in friction. Now we'll see rectilinear motion of a particle. This rectilinear motion of a particle is nothing but it is also one of the dynamics. It's a part of the mechanism that deals with the analysis of bodies, whether they will be in motion. Dynamics itself is called as the bodies will be is in motion. Dynamics is again is divided into two types. Already we know that one is kinematics, another one is kinetics. Kinematics is a study that the relation between the displacement, velocity, acceleration and time and then of a given motion without considering any forces here. Without considering any forces that causes the motion is called as kinematics. Whenever you take the kinetics, the body will be in motion but with considering the force. Okay. Kinetics is a study of the relationship that you have to observe here. The force acting on your body, the mass of the body and the motion of the body you are considering here. This kinetics is therefore can be used to predict the motion that will be caused by the given forces or determine the forces required to produce a prescribed motion. That is the one of the rectilinear motion of a particle. There will be two types. One is kinetics and dynamics. Another one is the kinematics. Kinematics is simply you have to remember that without force, the vehicle is moving. Kinetics is nothing but with force, the vehicle or any body is moving. Okay. The science of the dynamics is based on the natural laws that is governing by the motion of a particle. The term particle is a convenient idealization of the physical objects which need not too small in size, but the idealization, the mass of the body is assumed to be concentrated at the point and the motion of the body is considered here as the motion of the entire unit and then the neglecting of any rotation about its mass, about its own mass center in case which where such rotation is not negligible, then the body cannot be considered as a particle here. That type of particle is called as the rectilinear motion of that body of a particle. Then there will be different types of motions will be there. First types of motions are there will be when a particle moves in a space, it describes as a curved path. The path can be straight or curved. Second one is a rectilinear motion. When a particle moves along the path which in a straight line, then it is called as a rectilinear motion. Curved path or curvilinear path is nothing but when a particle moves along a curved path, it is called as curvilinear path or curvilinear motion. If the curved path lies in the same plane, then it is called as a plane curvilinear motion. Okay, this is one of the method that you have to observe here. Next, we will know we had to go for the kinematics. Kinematics is nothing but without applying any force, we can observe some displacement. How the vehicles or how the particle has to move here. Okay, a particle in rectilinear motion at any instant of time will occupy in a certain position on a straight line. To define the position P of a particle, we have to choose some convenient references. That convenient reference point O can be called as here the origin. Here you can observe here. The distance x of the particle at any time t is called the displacement. That is already we know. Suppose a body is there, that body will move from one place to another place with some distances. That distances we call as x here. And this displacement at that time is assumed to be whether it is positive direction to the right of the origin or negative direction to the left of the origin. This is the point O. Whether it is moving in the right side, we will consider as a positive condition, positive distance. Whether it is moving in the left side direction, then we will consider as a negative direction. Okay. The distance, how much the distance has traveled here. The distance is traveled by a particle is a difference, its displacement from the origin. For example, if a particle moves from O to P1 position and then it will move to the P2 position, then the displacement of P2 is nothing but the whatever the distance from the O to P dash. Okay. Then next we will consider that O to P is x and then P to P dash is the delta x. Then we will consider as the x plus delta x. Like that you have to consider the total distance traveled from one position to the whatever the destination position. And then if you suppose we have to turn 2 or 3 times, the average velocity of that particle will consider as the average velocity of that particle over the time of travel is delta t. That is one of the distance traveled and then angle of average velocity you have to consider. Next one is the instantaneous velocity. It is the velocity of a particle at a particular instant of time. It can be obtained from the average velocity by choosing the time travel. There will be some distance of delta t, and then with a displacement of delta x, it is very, very small, then we had to neglect that one. If the displacement x is increasing, the velocity v will be oppositely positive, and the particle is moving in this positive direction. The unit of velocity is meter per second. That is already we know whenever the velocity will be due to some distance per time. That is meters per second. Next one is the average acceleration. Let the velocity of the particle at any time t, if the velocity will be becomes to v plus delta v, at a later the time will be changes to t plus delta t. Then average acceleration will be v plus dv by t plus delta t. That is one of the equation for the average acceleration. These are all the different types of the equations that we had to observe here for our gate classes. Next, we will see uniform motion. A particle is said to have uniform motion when its acceleration is 0 and its velocity is constant. Whenever there is no acceleration and then velocity is constant, then that type of motion will call as a uniform motion. Uniformly accelerated motion, a particle is moving with a constant acceleration, is said to be uniformly accelerated motion. That is nothing but a particle is moving with a constant acceleration. Without any acceleration, the particle is moving. That type of movement is called as a uniformly accelerated motions. Now we'll see kinetics. Whatever kinematics we learn, that all will be without applying any forces. The particles has to move based on that particles. We had to observe the velocity based on that particles. We had to observe the acceleration. That all we learned in part A, that in dynamics, that is in kinematics. In kinetics, we had to learn about the equations of the rectilinear motion. That means here we are applying some force. Due to that force, some reactions will be occurred here. That reactions will be based on the Newton's laws. We can observe here. Now we'll observe the part B, that is the kinetics, equations of rectilinear motion. Here we are considering a particle P having an acceleration A. When acted upon the several forces F1 and F2, summation of this F1 and F2 will be the resultant forces. By applying the Newton's second law, whatever the forces must be equals to the some mass into acceleration. When the acceleration of the particle is in the direction of the resultant force, summation of the forces, where the vector quantities are involved in their x and y direction, x and y component, to be considered same parallel to the separately. When applying the same solution, it will give the two equations. What are the two equations means? Whether we are applying in the horizontal condition, the force is applying in horizontal condition, what are the mass into that direction, m into acceleration at that x direction. If suppose we are applying in upward direction, what will happen? Whatever the mass, that will be multiplied with the upward direction, a into y direction. That the equations can be in the form of motion of particles here. The equations of dynamic equilibrium is one of the main important principle, that is the D'Alembert principle. The equation of motion of that particle will be here. You can observe here the summation of the forces must be equals to MA. It can be written as sigma F, that is summation of the forces minus MA equal to 0. Whenever the two forces must be equal to 0, the two forces is A minus B equal to 0, like that. Okay, which means the resultant of the external force of the summation of the force and the force, whatever the force with mass into acceleration is 0. The force minus MA is called as the inertia force. The inertia of a body can be defined as a resistance here to change the condition of rest of uniform motion of a body. The magnitude of inertia force that must be equal to the product of mass and acceleration. Same particle and it acts as the direction opposite to the direction acceleration of that particle. This is nothing but simple A equals to B here. Again, we are taking as A minus B equal to 0. Again, we are considering that minus B will be in one condition, that minus B itself we are considering here. Summation of F minus MA equal to 0 here. You can observe here clearly. This is the D'Alembert's principle. Whatever the D'Alembert's principle is saying that whatever the A minus B equal to 0, but that A minus B itself they are considering as one other force. Summation of force sigma F plus, in brackets again we are taking as minus A minus MA equal to 0, and then that also in two directions, MAX and MAY are called as the dynamic equilibrium particles. So to write the equation of the dynamic equilibrium of a particle and the fictitious force equal to the inertia force to the external forces that is acting on a panel, that is equate to the sum of the two resultant forces. That two resultant forces, this concept is called as a D'Alembert's principle. It is very useful to solve the solution for the engineering problems and dynamics. Here you can observe there is one point is there. For that point, there will be a force is acting in one direction. M into A is acting in another direction. That is the minus MA. In that particular point, our formula is sigma F minus MA equal to 0. Whether the point is at rest. This is one of the main D'Alembert's principle. Very, very easy method, and then it will be useful for our now engineering problem conditions. We are using that. Up to now, we learned about the rectilinear motion. That is a straight line motions, linear motions. Now we'll see the curvilinear motion. In this curvilinear motion also again we'll see part A kinematics and part B kinetics. Okay. Kinematics, when a body or a moving vehicle described a curvilinear motion, it's said to be a curvilinear motion. When the direction of the force acting on a particle, it varies when the particle has some initial motion in the direction that does not coincide with the direction of the force that will be acting on the particle. The particle will move in the curvilinear path. For example, an object when thrown horizontally with some initial velocity, it moves in a curved parabolic path, but because the force of the gravity acting to the object does not coincide with the initial velocity of the object, and the object will move in a curved path. Suppose if you want to throw any stone straightly, but what will happen? It will be in the form of curved, and then it will be due to the gravitational force, it will come towards the ground. Okay, that curvilinear path, that is one of the curvilinear path. That is one of the example for the kinematics. The position of the vector here we can to observe here. The main to define the position of the particle moving along a curvilinear path at any instant. Whenever we are throwing a vehicle, throwing any stone, that will be not in a exactly x direction or exactly in y direction. There will be some curve will be there. Why? Due to some gravitational force, there will be some, it will be towards the gravitationally, it will be in a form of curvilinear motion. To consider that particle of the motion along a curvilinear path, to define the motion of the particle P at an instant time T, there will be any fixed references you have to consider here, and then you have to calculate the direction, and then now we have to find the some position, some small P to P dash T, some time is taken here up to what level the whatever the thrown stone will be straight, that we'll consider here. That is one of the position vector here. Here you can observe here. From here we are throwing any stone, some up to what distance it will be straight, up to what is the angle, what is the curved path you have to observe here. The vector delta R is the joining of P and P dash. Here you can observe that curved path. P and P dash is the curved path. These two is the distance is the delta R we are assuming, representing as the delta R, changing the position of the vector R during the time delta T. This can be verified by applying the triangle law of forces. R plus delta R equals to R dash. That delta R is nothing but represented the magnitude as well as a change in the direction of the vector. The velocity that will be instantaneously, velocity of the particle can be defined by changing the V equals to some whatever the distance delta R divided by the time. Velocity is nothing but the mass per meter per second. Okay. Or some distance, not mass, some distance per second. That distance will be based on the whether it will be moving in left direction or right direction. That direction we are taking here. And then here you can observe the acceleration of the particle also. Due to same, the acceleration of the particle will be the same. Whenever the velocity will changes, automatically the acceleration also will changes. Velocity at any time After at a time of delta t, the position will be changes to the v plus dv. And then the tangential position also we have to check here. The tangential component, it is a rate equal to the rate of change of speed of the particle. The tangential position and the tangential component also considered here to positive and negative direction. Some normal component is here. It is equal to the square of the speed of the divided square of its speed divided by the radius of the curvature. Normal component an equals to square of the velocity divided by the curvature of the path. Okay, the direction of the normal acceleration in such way that it always directed towards the center of the curvature of the path. This is one of the method we had observed here. And then suppose if you thrown any stone, there will be some projectile will be there. How the projectile will be there, how we had to find the motion of the projectile. Any object that it gives some initial velocity, which during the subsequent motion, it will be subjected to only acceleration due to gravity, is termed as a projectile here. For example, the motion of a bullet when we fire from a gun, the motion of a ball thrown horizontally, or it is termed as some projectile position or projectile motion. A projectile travels in the horizontal as well as in vertical direction and traces a curvilinear path that we had to observe here. If you want to shoot, then it will not go straightly 180 degrees. It will move some up and down. There will be some depends upon the force, how the vehicle or how the bullet has to projectile. If you throw any stone, if you throw any ball, it will be some projectile. That we had observed here. Then the velocity of the projection of the angle of the projection, the velocity with which the projectile is projected and the angle which the velocity makes the horizontal is equal to the velocity of the projection, and the angle of projection is represented based on the velocities. Now we'll see some formulas here, say based on the trajectory and then the range. The range of the projectile here, horizontal distance at a point of projection here, some trajectory. There will be suppose we are sending a stone or any vehicle, any ball. There will be some horizontal and vertical positions will be there. Horizontal will be a cos theta and vertical will be a sin theta. Our formula will be VAX is nothing but VA cos alpha and VAY equals to VA sin alpha. Depends upon the angle, depends upon the sign we had to considering here. And then horizontally also we had to change H maximum equals to V naught sin square alpha by 2G. Then the range is V naught squared sin 2 alpha by G. This is one of the formulas we had to consider here for one acceleration having the two components x and y directions. Vx is Vax plus Ax into 2. This already due to the projectile, we'll solve this one. Projectile problems. Next, we'll see the kinetics for a curvilinear motion. Kinetics for a curvilinear motion is nothing but when a vehicle is moving in one direction to another direction, compulsory there will be a moving vehicle that will be with some force. There will be some x and y directions will be there. Okay, that equation of motion for that curvilinear motion is nothing but some resolving of the forces that is acting on that x and y position. The summation of the sigma fy and sigma fx represents the summation of the components and the forces in each and every direction. If suppose summation of fx equals to movement in m into a, that is nothing but the mass into acceleration. That acceleration and mass will be given here with different formulas. That is max and may due to the curvilinear motion, due to the equation of that body, due to the motion of the body. Now we'll see the kinematics of a rigid body. First one is the kinematics of a rectilinear we seen. Second one is the kinematics of a curvilinear we seen, and the third one is the kinematics of a rigid body. It is nothing but the motion of a body from simple translation to quite complex problems and complex motions. Hence, we shall limit our study to the plane motions of a rigid body. In the plane motion of a rigid body, all the particles of the body move in parallel lines. The motion of the body, therefore, can be represented by the motion of any such parallel planes. And then it will be represented in various types of groups of planes. Now we'll see one by one. First one is the translation. Second one is the rotation, and the third one is the general plane motion. Translation is nothing but the, here you can observe the rectilinear translation and curvilinear translation. Translation is nothing but straight line, and then there will be a curve will be there, and then one will be a next straight line will be there. Okay, that type of images we call as a translation here. The rigid body is subjected to a translatory motion if an imaginary straight line drawn on a body remains parallel to its original position during the motion. It can be observed that all the particles of the body move along the parallel paths on a translatory motion. If these paths are straight, the motion is said to be rectilinear motion. If these paths are in curved shape, then it will be called as a curvilinear motion. Okay, two offset type. Next one is rotation. In this case, all the particles of a rigid body move on a concurrent circular forces. The common center of circles may be located in the body or outside the body, as shown in figure. In general plane motion, any plane that will be which will be in either in translation nor rotation, that type of plane will call as a general plane motion. Rotation. Rotation is nothing but the plane will be moved with its own direction with the parallel axis, and the plane slab will be interacting with the point center point. The position of the slab completely defined as then some angle theta. That angle theta is the angle coordinated by the slab with the angular velocity omega. That angular velocity is depends upon the distance, that is the angle divided by the time. Angular velocity equals to d theta by dt, that is radian per second is the unit. Angular velocity sometimes is measured in revolutions also, that is in revolution per minute. Omega is equals to 2 pi n by 60 radians per second. This is also one of the angular velocity we had to calculate it for our gate problems. They will give some revolutions, and then they will give n, they will give n is nothing but the number of revolutions. 60 revolutions will be given, and then they will ask you to find the angular velocity. To find the angular velocity, our formula is omega equals to 2 pi n by 60. Then simply easily you can calculate. We had to remember the equation omega equals to 2 pi n by 60. Then we had to substitute n value in this condition. Then we will find the angular velocity. Okay, the angular acceleration of the slab is given in the second derivation of the angular coordinated theta with respect to the time. Here you can see, observe some formulas for uniform rotation and then uniformly accelerated motion. If uniform rotation in case of angular acceleration is 0, then some definitions, some equations will be there. This all equations already we learned from starting from 8th standard onwards. Rectilinear motion and angular motion. V equals to u plus 80, s equals to ut plus half 80 square, v square minus u square equals to 2as. Depends upon this equation, rectilinear motion. Angular motion, wherever the velocities will be there, there will be angular motion, omega will be there here. Omega equals to omega naught plus alpha t. There will be distance s equals to here distance theta. That will be omega naught t plus half 80 square. Like that we had to consider. These are all the different conditions. Very, very important one. Next one is linear and angular velocity conditions and angular rotations. Here you can observe here different conditions with angular velocity and angular acceleration formulas. Next, kinetics of a rigid body. Kinetics of a rigid body is nothing but whenever the body will be in moving condition, there will be some formulas, that is depends upon the translatory motion and depends upon the rotatory motion. It depends upon the rotatory motion, mg equals to ig into alpha here for kinetics rigid bodies. And then the relation between translatory motion, rotatory motion in a plane motion, our formula will be due to the rolls without slipping, slips without rolling, rolls as well as slips. Okay, first we'll see rolls without slipping is nothing but the forward motion that has to be moved at the center of the body, and then it will move from one side to another side. Okay, slips with rolling is nothing but there is no rotatory, that will be involved f equals to mu r. Another one is the rolls as well as slips. This will be translatory and rotatory motions, that will be depends upon their condition. Next, f equals to sigma fx equals to ma, that means depends upon the forces that has to be considered here. And then equations is the main equations are fx minus max equal to 0. That is one of the conditions. That will be depends upon the equation of motion that we had to consider here for our engineering mechanics. Okay, these are all the main important terms we had to learn in our engineering mechanics basics. In tomorrow class, we will see the structural analysis basics classes more. In today class, we will see about the engineering mechanics, about the kinetics and kinematics, and then the friction, different categories here we had observed here. Again, we will see some more definitions and some more important what are the gate problems we had to solve that we will solve in the next class. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. Thank you.